Hello guys, once again, it's Matt, and today we have another video. Thank you all the members, all the patrons. Make sure to subscribe and let's get into it. We are trying to hit 50,000 subscribers, so help me out there. Let's go. And yeah, I wanted to talk a little bit about the F-14B, but specifically the AIM-54C. A lot of people are wondering what are the capabilities of these missiles, if they are amazing, if they are bad, if they are way better than the original AIM-54. What are the differences between them? And everybody just wants to know if it's going to be OP or not, right? If you know, the F-14B was kind of confirmed. It was confirmed already, and I mean, the AIM-7Ms, they don't change anything for now, at least, between the F and the normal F-14A has. And of course, we have the AIM-9L coming to it as well, which is also a missile that we kind of already, we already have in other aircraft, so we kind of know how it will perform, right? But the only one that we don't is the AIM-54C, so I wanted to talk a little bit about that. And to be honest, the first thing that we need to talk about is how the 54A is kind of in the game right now, which is kind of weird, actually. If you research a little bit of the engine types of the AIM-54A, you would see that the normal engine that we had is the Mark 47, which had around 14-15 kilonewtons, so like 14.9, or in some cases a little bit more, depending on the modification of it, and 27 seconds of burn time. In the game right now, we have 30 seconds of burn time and 14.3 kilonewtons of force, which is kind of odd. The time is actually the same as the Mark 60 engine, which is the improved engine of the AIM-54, but the improved engine of the AIM-54, the Mark 60, as I was saying, it has 17,000 kilograms of force, or 17,000 newtons, right? So it would be 17 kilonewtons. So we kind of have a mix of engines right now from what we can have of information in the basically in the internet, right? So it's kind of weird already that the AIM-54A has kind of a weird engine, okay? I don't know what's the reason for it. Maybe it's the physics of the game that are different from real life and from other games like TCS. So we might, have that as a problem, and that's why it's different. So the main thing about the AIM-54C would be that it has a different engine as well. If he uses the Mark 47 Mod 1 engine, it would basically have a smokeless engine. I doubt that we will see that, but still, it would be one of the interesting things. It would still have the 27 seconds, but with 15.7 kilonewtons, so a little bit more powerful than the original Mark 47. And I think there is an AIM-54C with the Mark 60 engine that would be more similar to what we have in the game. So we need to notice and wait to see what version of what engine the AIM-54C will have. So this is the first thing. If it does have the smokeless engine, it would be the main thing, I think. Between the A and the C would be the main difference, right? It would be a little bit more powerful, not by much, but it would be a little bit more powerful than our original, Mark 47. Since we kind of have the Mark 60, I don't know how that would be. It probably would be less powerful than the A that we have. But as I said, we need to wait until we see the type of engine that we have in the C. So yeah, a smokeless engine would mean that it would be harder to see the missile coming. But with that out of the way, because we kind of don't know where the engine part stands, what engine the C variant will have, we can see the differences in the seeker, which are not big, to be honest. The main difference between the two of them is that the C variant, between the A and the C, is that the C variant uses heavily, or just more than the A, and overall is just an electronic missile. It uses solid state electronics to actually process everything and just use as the guidance system. So it is supposed to be faster calculating everything, which means that it would be a better missile tracking targets and just changing directions and all sorts of things like that. But there is a catch to it. The missile turns the same. It tracks basically the same. Everything is the same. It would be just technically better, right? So I doubt that we will see a difference in that part of things. The main difference in the Seeker that a lot of sources claim about is actually firing against very high altitude bombers, or especially very low flying altitude bombers and cruise missiles. So it's not just overall a missile that would have a better, guidance system flying really low to the ground, to targets that are flying really low to the ground. And that, I think, it's something that we might see happening. We don't see this difference between the AIM-7F and the M, that it would be different between the two. The M would be a lot better to low altitude flying aircraft, but we already don't have that. So we might not even see that. But in game, I think this would be the main thing if it's ever added, Another thing that this missile would have, it's something that, and I think it would just, if it's added to the game, it would be very cool to see, which is the going active part of the missile. If you don't know, at least in the CS, in other sources, they claim that the AIM-54A, which is the original one, they basically don't guide themselves while they are not with a lock, or at least a detection with the DWS or something like that. In the game, we already have kind of a weird situation that we don't have a soft lock in many targets, so that you can choose many targets and fire at the same time. You have to go basically choose the one that you want to fire, and then change the target, and then fire, and just basically maintain the scan of the TWS in that area, right? So it's kind of already different from what it is in real life, but still, it would make sense that if you lose this lock, or this detection at least, the AIM-54 would just not guide. It would just maintain its flight path to a direction that it knew before, but it would lose the guidance, right? And if you actually lost that soft lock, some sources even claim that you basically lose the missile. You wouldn't be able to actually go active with the missile, and it would be just that. The missile would just basically go ballistic and die, right? I don't know how correct that is, but still. With the AIM-54C actually being a lot smarter in that area. So if you actually lost the TWS lock, you would automatically go active. And if you saw the missile, you would have a flight path that would just go with the INS system and the latest information that it got before from the mothership, but it would just go active. So making it a lot more reliable getting kills if you actually lose the lock. And to be honest, in War Thunder, I don't know if this is actually introduced, but it would make a lot of these things just a lot of these shots a lot more reliable. As I said, I don't think this is actually added to the game yet. I don't think the A actually has problems dealing with this type of thing. But if these things are added to the A would be less effective than it is right now when you lose the lock, and the C would be the one that would be a lot better, right? Would be a lot more reliable, because you could actually manage to go to a target even if you lose the TWS soft lock, right? And another minor thing that some of the sources claim is the ECM, or basically ECCM capabilities, or the ability to actually counter the ECM, or not even ECM, but just overall radar countermeasures, right? So for example, Chaff, it would be a lot easier for the AIM-54A to see than it is in the game, probably, and the C would be a lot more, just stronger against it. So it's another thing that it would probably be different. So it's kind of weird. These minor differences are not really implemented, as I said, with something like the AIM-7F and the M. So I doubt that we will see these differences between the AIM-54A and C. But we will need to wait until the game is actually it's introduced to the game for us to actually properly take a look on that, okay? But overall, my opinion on it is that yes, it is going to be better than the A, but not by much. It is still going to be kind of the same missile. The one thing that it really matters is the engine. We don't know the engine that these missiles will have. So it's kind of a guessing game right now to see if it's going to be better overall than the A or not, because it depends on the engine. But overall, it is supposed to be a lot more reliable to get kills with the better tracking system and just overall better performance on the electronic systems of the missile, right? So that's my opinion. I think it's going to be better than the A, but not game changer. It will not be OP. So no, I don't think it's going to be OP. I think it's just going to be a very, very good missile at longer ranges. 40, 50 kilometer shots will be probably a lot better, and even being able to fire at 70 kilometers, something like that. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed. Let me know in the comments what you think about this, if you agree with me or not, and if you have any other information about the AIM-54C, feel free to leave it in the comments, okay? I see you guys on the next one, and bye guys. See you.